I'm really glad that you clicked on this video. This is a really important step for you because I know how much of an important step it was for me. So I'm going to take you back to your little girl dreams, your childhood dreams. And I want to remind you of what it was like when you were a little girl. What is it that you fantasize about? What was it that you imagined playing? Were you the princess in the tower? Were you the warrior that saved a kingdom? What was it about you as a little girl that was your favorite thing to imagine? Now, imagine yourself as the parent of that child, the inner you, the little one that you were. Not the way that your parent was, but the way you see yourself as a little girl. This is you stepping into the aspect of both daughter and mother. When we look at our children through the eyes of our own inner child, I'm telling you, it's a completely different understanding of being a mother. So look back at your little inner child and don't just view her through the eyes of your own inner child. I want you to also view her from the eyes of the one you see as your perfect image of a mate. Look at that inner child through the eyes of a spouse. That spouse in you looks at that little inner child and sees the beauty and majesty of everything that you were. Now look at yourself through the eyes of the father of that child. Think about all of those stories and all of the times that you rolled your eyes at some guy saying, I'm gonna clean my shotgun on the front porch, okay? Think about your inner child from the view of your father in you. The one who would protect that inner child with everything that you had. Now look at everything that she was as a carbon copy of you, their spouse. Every little thing that they love about you is present in that little girl. And they love that little girl because she grew into you. Now you see your inner child, your dreams, your wishes, your design in a completely different view. You see all of those things that you thought were imperfections as a child as things that made you perfectly, uniquely you. Every combination of your ancestry, every combination straight up all the way back up to the top. The very first creation, you are stemmed from that love. And that love travels down through you, regardless of where you are on the pole, the totem, wherever it is, regardless of where you are. That love pulses in you. So you can look at your own self through the eyes of the father and the mother. And now there's no longer a need to feel worthy. Because that little girl in you is also a part of that spouse that you love. because that is exactly how he sees you in all of your wonder, in all of your glory. And you, those parts of you that you freaking just they drive you crazy, those parts of you that drive you crazy are the things that the little quirks that are, when you love something about somebody but it annoys you at the same time. Like, you're like, I can't get enough of that, but it drives me freaking crazy. But if it was gone, you would hate it because you would miss it, right? It's not about erasing our little quirks. It's about learning to love our little quirks the way that the one who created us sees it. Because when we consciously create, we are creating that which we want. So when we want to see that little princess swirling around an imaginary maypole or climbing up a mountain to defeat a dragon, whatever it may be, whatever that little girl inside of you was doing was something that was adored in some way. Now let's move up to that spouse level, okay? I want to have that conversation about the feminine to feminine dynamic, okay? Not necessarily like, I'm talking about like as seeing another feminine as a competition, okay? It's not about being the perfect one for him. It is being the perfect one for you so that you attract the one that is perfectly aligned for you. The one that you created for yourself in your own heart of hearts. The way that I see this now is so intriguing, because it's all about the dance, okay? So the dance of finding exactly who you are, figuring out exactly what it is about you that caused you to exist. It starts with a thought, then a sound, then a word, then a name. I'm sorry, a letter, then a name. Okay, when we end up with the final product, that which is in creation, it's already been thought out and planned, not by one, but by both, so that you can find one another in that special way, in that special connection, whether it be a friend to friend peer, for example, the feminine to the feminine. When we understand that which is wonderful about each and every one of us, we don't assimilate, we expand. When we don't see that which is in others as competition, but as a different perspective. I love the word aspect in this particular case, a different aspect of self. For example, it's like having let's just imagine your name, okay? Your name is a code. And I'm not talking about like, your name is Sarah and therefore you are like all the Sarahs. No, but we'll take the letters as a personality kind of trait, right? And so when we put the letters together, let's say, for example, my name is Angelina. I have the two A's, I have the two N's, and they're mirrored at the end, right? And so these two traits are that which are the core foundation of me. I'm not actually saying this is how it works, but we're just going to use it for letters, okay? So the A and the N are the core foundation for me. It is what mirrors in my name, and therefore it shows the balance, okay? So we're going to take it from the name and put it into the genetics, the DNA coding, if you will. Every single like tiny little aspect that made you exactly the way that you are is the letters of your name, right? So if you have a particular trait, for example, I am a there's so many things I could say. I don't know what to say. I am the type of person that, I'm a wordsmith. There you go. I'm a wordsmith in the way that I have learned how to place words together in a string that allows you to be able to understand a concept that you may not have understood before. Okay, so that is one of my gifts. And having that gift allows me to be able to help you to have a perspective that may have been different from the one you saw before, right? That's what makes me unique. Whereas you could be like, I don't know, maybe a water sign, and you feel very deeply and you express those feelings in a way that I've never considered before, like through art. And your art, your painting, shows me the way you perceive the world in a completely different way, expanding my understanding. I no longer see you as a competition, but as an expansion of my already expanded understanding, right? The more combinations we have, the more we understand from a different perspective, like writing a story, right? You start with a letter, you end with a book. Every single letter that you put in there makes up a story. So just because we both write a book about the exact same scenario doesn't mean we're going to see the exact same scenario from the exact same perspective. Because my coding has XYZ and yours has ABC. And so therefore, you have seen the beginning, I have seen the end. And therefore, together, seeing the beginning and the end, we can see the full story. Make sense? Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. So when we stop viewing other women as our competition, but as a way to better our understanding, because that which I offer may not be the same that you offer. Two women standing in front of the same man doesn't mean that those two women are in competition. It is simply that of those two women, one will be a better match for both of you, not just one of you. Just because one of you didn't get that match in that moment doesn't mean that you won't get that match later. It's simply a matter of when you start to sing your own tune. Oh my gosh. When you start to sing your own tune. I for some reason I want to say the Pied Piper. But no rats, right? No rats. When you start to sing your own tune, that's when your amplification grows, okay? And as you continue to sing your own tune, you start to attract to you that which is attuned to your kind of song, okay? Think about it for like, genres of music, okay? You have someone who listens to classical Bach and someone who listens to, death metal. These two don't necessarily combined well unless both of them slightly change in order to make the symphonic work well. Like what is the name of that one? It's something bells. The Russian orchestra, I believe, did it. I can't remember, but it's like one of the most epic renditions of a classical song because they tweaked it just a little bit in order to make it work. And now you have the beginning and the end. but but that's all about tuning, right? That's about aligning with what is right within yourself, and they align with what is right within themselves, and then you come together because your perfect harmony, being two totally different understandings, sounds beautiful together. It's no longer about competition. It's simply a matter of I am becoming. I am becoming that which is the best version of me. And when I become the best version of me, that which I created for myself comes to myself. When we continue to create chaos and torment ourselves, we're going to continue to chaotically torment ourselves. And now, let's go ahead and move on to an adult dynamic between the mother, who is aging, and the daughter, who is blossoming. This can be a very difficult time for a lot of women because they feel as though their beauty is fading, and therefore when their beauty fades, the love that they once had will also fade for the fresher, younger flower. But what you are forgetting is every layer that you have grown through makes you even more delectable to the one who created you. Because as your maturity grows, he sees the way that not only do you continue to treat yourself with respect and love and never forget that fire, you're also treating that which you created with him with love and honor, thereby continuing his love for you because of your love for that which you created together. The daughter is a combination of your love. The aspects of both of you that you both love the most of each other became your children, and then your children's children, and then your children's children's children. And when you stop seeing it as competition, because the love that you share at the very tippy top is always safe, because you are always loving every aspect of yourself. Healing the wound is not easy. But when you understand the rupture, when you understand that which caused your pain, you can understand from a different perspective. We cannot blame a baby for being unable to speak. So we cannot blame ourselves for that which we didn't know, right? But here's the trick. Once you know, There ain't no going back. Now you can't say, I didn't know. With this understanding comes a responsibility. With this understanding comes a choice. And at that moment, it becomes free will. Once you kick off that default mode and you start looking at the reasons, the why, that's when default mode looks like gross. I don't want to go back there again. And you make the conscious choice to move forward and to change. Transitioning from fire into ice, then from ice into water, and then water into steam, steam into air, air into rain, and earth, and fire. And it's just a new level. And it's all in what you want to create. What is it that you want? Because if you continue to want, you'll never want to destroy. Friends become an extension of you. Family becomes a bond. And love becomes the backbone. Love is everything. Love is what creates everything. The love of fire and ice. That love will never, ever, ever fade. So long as we don't destroy it. Have a good one.